What will be the early careers recruitment trends for 2020, and what should employers do to prepare for them? Hello everybody, my name is Michele and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Debut, a graduate attraction and engagement platform aimed at connecting early careers talent with employers. A part of the exciting journey of building a successful company like Debut is that we get to speak to a lot of graduate recruiters. It is interesting because through these conversations, we often see the signs of what's to come in the industry. And as a tech company, we're always trying to find solutions to the potential challenges ahead for our clients. So, what are the early careers recruitment trends for 2020, and how can employers prepare for those? Well, we see four main themes for next year: diversity, data, apprenticeships, and Gen Z. Let's go through them. D&I, or diversity and inclusion, has certainly been a very hot theme this year, and we see it becoming even more prominent in 2020. For anyone in the industry, I'm sure this is old news, but it is now beyond doubt that a diverse workforce helps companies to be more innovative and more profitable. McKinsey, in their Why Diversity Matters report, presented a very clear picture. Gender and ethnicity diversity are correlated to both profitability and value creation, with more diverse companies 30% more likely to outperform their less diverse peers. Diversity is also a key to be able to attract the best early talent, and a recent research by Forbes has shown that 77% of students consider an employer's diversity a deciding factor when choosing a job. 77%. At Debut, we're very proud to be at the forefront of diversity recruitment, and the employers we work with are doing a fantastic job attracting a more diverse pipeline of students and graduates and improving their selection processes to remove biases. For instance, Unilever has adopted an AI-powered software to automate some of the initial stages of the graduate selection, resulting in more ethnically and gender-diverse hires. Another example is EY, who are running programs for first-year students to widen participations from underrepresented categories. But diversity is not just gender and ethnicity. Social mobility is a factor that cuts through so many other areas. It is becoming more and more important, with more employers providing more support to students that need it the most. Diversity is also sexual orientation, neurodiversity, disability and mental health. Companies like TfL are already doing a terrific jobs, and many others like the IPA have included a more diverse workforce starting at the graduate level as a business objective for 2020. I want to say here a few words about mental health. It is such an important topic which is close to the hearts and minds of many students out there. One of our partners, Hype Collective, conducted a research which suggested that over 75% of students would not feel comfortable talking about their mental health with a potential employer. There is so much that needs to be done here. Unfortunately, many employers are rising to the challenge. Companies like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, BAE Systems, Siemens, and many others have already signed to Time to Change pledge, a commitment to change the way we think and act about mental health in the workplace. The key in 2020 will be to let students and candidates know how much has already been done and what the plans for the futures are. A big focus for us here at Debut will be to help companies educate student and prospective employees as to the type of help available. We will be providing more information and guidance, and will produce some video content explaining how our clients are already very focused on their employees' mental well-being. The second trend we are seeing is around the use of data. We've all seen the impact data is having on every other industry around us. However, the use of data in graduate recruitment is still relatively limited. The main reason is that not a lot of information is available when it comes to Gen Z. The platforms young people are on personally are not the platforms that they expect to be found on professionally. Snapchat, TikTok, and the likes, for instance, do not collect enough relevant data that can be used by employers. The transition to more professionally oriented platforms usually happens later, which is a problem. New platforms like Debut are better positioned. We collect, for instance, over 60 data points for each student that can produce some very powerful insights and targeting when combined and analyzed. Another example of data in action is our demographic heat maps that we produce to assess an employer brand's strength within different demographic segments of the student population. This can then be used to inform marketing campaigns and initiatives, even customizing messaging to different groups. I'm talking about this because there is an important point to make. Data can be unique and valuable, but just collecting it without using it to inform actions is not that useful. The trend we will see going forward is employers better leveraging the data they have to extract actionable insights, then apply those to all the recruitment marketing activities. In the first quarter of next year, we will be working on a wash-up of all the data from 2019 and produce sector-specific reports highlighting some key trends, opportunities, and comparisons. A third trend for 2020 will be apprenticeships. This year has been the first year that we've heard almost every client of ours talking about apprenticeships, the levy, their attraction strategies, and the many challenges that came with it. An ISC survey showed that only 37% of the apprenticeships levy is spent on average, meaning that a lot more will need to be done to hire and train quality apprentices. With so much money going to waste and retention rates for training apprentices higher than for graduates, we're sure we will see a lot more investment going into the attraction of school leavers and apprentices, with a particular focus on areas where employers seem to struggle, i.e. more technical and STEM-related roles. The challenge that all employers are facing, however, is that hiring for apprentices, especially at the attraction level, is very different than for graduates. School leavers are more geographically localized. There are over 7,000 schools in the country versus only 130 universities. They are less likely to be on professional platforms. They are less aware of companies, brands, and opportunities out there. And often they are influenced by schools and parents, which are not always bought into the whole apprenticeship route. We have seen a number of new platforms already emerging and doing a great job in this area, and more existing players traditionally operating in the graduate space trying to expand to school leavers. The results, however, have not been always excellent. We believe that providers as well will need to do more and understand better how to engage this audience. Here at Debut, we are already working with several thousand school leavers and helping them match with the best opportunities. And we will for sure do a lot more next year, so stay tuned. The fourth theme is less of a trend and more of a demographic change that employers will have to grapple with: Gen Z. As we know, university students are now almost entirely composed of members of this new generation, and understanding what drives them and what turns them off will need to be pretty high up on the agenda of every early career recruiter. We spend a lot of time with Gen Zers. They are at the center of everything we do, and we run weekly interviews with students to better understand their needs, their struggles, and how we can help them best. This has given us a pretty good idea what employers need to be focused on to engage with this talent group. We already mentioned how diversity is critical for these new generations, but not only. They are less idealistic than millennials and more focused on practical aspects of their work life. A flexible work environment, a good pay, a quick career progression. They demand a more personalized approach when it comes to recruiting. They are quick to share disappointments online and among friends, and rely heavily on reviews on websites like Glassdoor to form an opinion of an employer. We already mentioned how diversity is crucial for this new generation, but not only. They are less idealistic than millennials, more focused on practical aspects of their work life. A flexible work environment, a good pay, a quick career progression. They demand a more personalized approach when it comes to recruiting. They are quick to share disappointments online and among friends, and rely heavily on reviews on websites like Glassdoor to form an opinion of an employer. Employers will therefore need to create a consumer-grade candidate experience, a hiring journey that convinces candidates to become employees. We know that people who are satisfied with their candidate experiences, and we're not just talking about grads here, are 38% more likely to accept a job offer. So over-communicate what the process is and what candidates can expect and by when, and try to be relatable in every step of the way, from initial digital engagement to final job offer. A LinkedIn survey has shown that in today's competitive market for talent, a compelling employer brand is crucial to attract the best candidates, with great brands receiving up to 50% more qualified applicants and experiencing a 50% reduction in cost per hire. So your employer brand will need to work twice as hard. But how do you do that? Well, 2020, we believe, will not be just about appearing cool or shouting your name the loudest. It's about really showing that you care and providing support. For instance, a point that emerged from our own Gen Z research and from the many conversations we've had with our users is that often when researching a job, students don't know what it is like to work at the organization. So there is a need to engage students beyond the simple job spec of a vacancy, maybe with a day in a life video that follows an employee on a regular day in their role. We know that videos are 12 times more engaging than text. However, a word of caution here. These videos are not supposed to be corporate videos. They need to give candidates a real life look into the role. They need to be perceived as real and compelling. A final point we'd like to make around engaging Gen Z is the timing of it. Research we conducted suggests that almost 50% of candidates are not ready to apply. From our in-app data, we have seen that on average, only 43% of total applications to a job card are made during the first 30 days of that job going live, meaning that more than 50% of our users do not apply or do not feel ready to do so as soon as possible. We think that going forward, just opening graduate roles for a few weeks and attending a handful of career fairs is not going to be enough anymore. Students need to be engaged more and from an earlier time in their university career. Setting up early engagement programs, think Discovery Days or Discovery Weeks for first-year students, or digital events like webinars, will provide the perfect opportunity to identify and nurture top and diverse talent ahead of the competition and help the students that feel maybe less confident to better understand their options and what job is best for them. So, to recap, we believe 2020 will be a very interesting year in the name of diversity and inclusion, with a more data-oriented approach leading to personalized messaging and targeting. Employers will most likely dedicate more resources to attract and hire apprentices, while strengthening their employer brand and candidate experience to allure this new generation of talent. And with this, we conclude our quick overview of the trends for next year. We hope this has been useful. Feel free to leave a comment on here or get in touch with us at connect@debut.careers. Happy holidays!